thought there'd be only one way to start this, man. And it kind of goes back to high school. Um, Back in high school, after practice, after track practice, we'd be sitting in that little foyer thing. And I'd come up to you or anyone around me, and then tell you, give me a sandwich of your day. And I'd say, give me one
Oh,
thing. Yeah. Give me one thing that you were proud of today, one thing you're working on, one thing you're looking forward to.
remember this. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. One thing I'm proud of, I have been running again.
No
Like
way.
this whole week, I started running because I haven't run consistently for like a year.
Really?
And I missed the, I don't miss the competing of running, but I missed like the peace it gave me in my life. So I wanted that
Hmm.
back again. So I've been like waking up early and like just running like for 30 minutes, like real easy. And it's just been really nice. So I'm just proud of myself for being like consistent with that. Something to work on. I need to get better. I've been trying to read more because I'm like,
Oh, wow. We're in a
right,
similar
you know, like
wave right
it's,
now, I think.
yeah, I'm trying
Yeah.
to read more because I feel like, I don't know, I'm like, when's the last time I picked up a book and just like consistently read?
I, yeah, I
So,
was
and
like,
I'm just like, I'm into those like mindful books, regardless of like what point I'm in my life, like those, not like self-help, but like just give you like ways to like, I don't know, make your day better, make your life better. Trying to get more into, I meditated for the longest time and then I just stopped. And I was like, I just trying to get a little bit more peace back in my day
interesting.
because it's busy, but in a good way. And then the last one was something
You're looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to. I ordered some film for my camera and I'm excited to take some film photos
Ooh.
again. I miss, like, I love digital. I love all photography, but it's something about the manualness of like pulling back the lever and like hearing like the
Yeah, the
click. It's
click.
just so good,
Oh, it just gets
you
you.
know?
That's a good
Mm,
swag segue, man. I want you to
yeah,
like tell me about how you got into photography.
yeah. Okay. So I always loved art, like from the get-go. Since I was little, I would like cover like everything in paint or markers or like crayon, and like I would go outside to paint all the time. Just that was like always my thing I did in my free time, and did that throughout like preschool, grade school, and then seventh grade I got like a phone because everyone gets like nowadays people get phones. I sound old like nowadays, but like I just got a phone in seventh grade, and I was like, that was the first time I owned a camera that was my own. It wasn't a camera, that was
Wow.
a phone, but that was my first exposure to like taking photos myself. So I would legitimately take photos of everything. So if I still had those files, that'd be funny. But it was around fall. I remember taking thousands of pictures of pumpkins. I was
Mm.
obsessed with taking pictures of pumpkins.
That's
And
it's funny because you
what did you
still
say?
take pictures of pumpkins.
I do still take pictures of pumpkins. Like it's just like it's a continuation of something. I don't know what it is, but that happened, and I just kept taking pictures of literally anywhere I would go, and I would keep running out of storage because I would fill my phone. It was like 64 gigabytes of
Oh my God, it's a
just,
lot of photos, man.
I know it was like a lot. That's still an issue. I'm like a photo hoarder, but I would like save. I kept doing this cycle of things where I would take so many, like I would outgrow the camera. So that was my phone one, and then I got a really crappy camera, like I think from a thrift store, like
Yeah.
digital point and shoot, and I was like, oh, this is it. I'm the next, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
was so
you're the
exciting.
next
So
thing. You're the
I'm
next
the
thing.
next big thing. I'm the next Ansel Adams. I'm the next, like, name anybody. I was like, oh God, I'm the shit. So like that was a cycle that lasted like seventh grade, eighth grade to freshman year.
So you
And I
already thought
was,
you were the shit in eighth grade.
no, I was
Oh,
just kidding. No, I was just like, oh, this is fun. You know what I mean? Like I was just having fun with it. And those photos probably suck, which is fine, but that's how I learned. You know, I learned from crappy cameras and from crappy phone
mm,
cameras. And then my first real exposure to photo education of any sorts was Photo One at Lombard West. And that was the first time I was given like a prompt and like trying to connect a conceptual meaning to art. I guess I was looking at more as a documentary way to like create visuals in my life. And
Oh,
that was the
gotcha.
first time I was like, not only was I like tasked with like making certain ideas appear in photos, but I was like tasked with making self-portraits. And I feel like that was the moment that it really clicked, because up until that point, I really focused on like whatever I found interesting, but then I started photographing people and myself first. And it might sound like it's not like narcissistic. I wasn't like obsessed with myself, but it was like it's uncomfortable. It was really like uncomfortable for
Oh
me
yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
you're like you're face to face with yourself as the artist, the photographer, but also as the model. And it was the first time I was like, you just like you see yourself from an angle that you have all control over. But I guess what that like helped me do is I feel like it helped me gain a lot of confidence, because I started to really like either transforming myself either in post-production or in like in the actual film frame into something, or like just playing with photography a lot. And then I
Gotcha.
started doing that with people, and then doing little like photo shoots on the side wherever I could, and like buying crap from the dollar store and like sticking on people's faces and stuff like that. Like just like really like thrifty, frugal, like
Mm-hmm.
trying to make what I could out of what I had. And it was fun and I really enjoyed that. And I think a part of that is still my artistic practice. But
No,
around sophomore
100%.
year, I was like, I did a shoot with my friend Lily and her sister. And that was the first time I think someone took what I was doing seriously before I knew what it was. And like I look back at those photos, I'm so like proud of them, because it was the first time I went into something with a plan. And first, like I just felt like very in it and very present, because I wasn't really worried about anything except that. Or I just felt very like behind the camera. That was the first time I felt like I know what I'm doing. And from there, I was like, this is definitely something I can make into a career or like a passion of some sort. So I started like just taking photos for people whenever I could. Like that's when I started my business. That's when I started taking more photo classes. And from there, I kind of just skyrocketed to like now I'm at the point where it's like every day I'm taking a photo. It's like what I think about when I wake up. It's what I think about when I go to bed. It's like always on my mind, but in a good way. But I think beyond just beyond just going from like a hobby to a career for a way to sustain my concentration with art, it's been a way for me to notably express myself. And I think when I look back, the pictures that I take of myself, not in a selfish way, have taught me a lot about myself. Because back in seventh grade, I was like in an environment at Catholic school which was full of so much privilege and so much bubble and closeness and conservativeness that I had no sense of self before I started photography. And I feel like it was the first time I really was able to find a gateway into like exploring not only identity, but how I grew up and what I want to do and who I want to be. And yeah, photography has just been the thing in art that really has made me figure out myself in one way or another. And I'm still like figuring it all out. And I think I say this a lot, but everything I learned about art, I learned the wrong way before I learned it the right way. And I'm really happy about that, because I'm one of the people that needs to fail before I can succeed. And I feel like it's given me that ability to like refocus and find what I feel like I have a space now with art and with photography that I feel really free and really independent, and it's going in the right direction. So yeah, that's how I
Amazing.
started photography.
Amazing,
Sorry if that was kind of a clusterfuck of
man.
all over the place, but yeah.
No, I think it's really important. I think a lot of artists, they start with not having the right tools or the right supplies, and it forces you to get really creative. And I always noticed that, just like following along as you'd post on Instagram, you'd have these photos of just like I was like, huh, I didn't know like weird bubbles could be in a photo, or like some like random purple pumpkin or whatever the hell.
Mhm.
It's just like, and it at the beginning it felt like a little forced, like you were trying to figure out how to be creative. And then I think in the past like year, man, there's just been this like, oh wow, it just like works now. And it was so cool to see
you.
that growth. There's
Thank
actually
you.
there is there's a couple I want to pull
Oh
up, and
my
I
God.
want to get
I'm
um
excited for this. This will be good.
what your opinion is on it. Okay, here we go.
These are
So
just so
we're gonna
scary.
go and share. No, you're good, man.
No, I'm
Okay.
getting scared. Wait, oh wait, this is good.
Okay, here we are. Here's your thing. Williams lenses. Everyone go
Hell
follow.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so all of them seem to have this like you get like what's your obsession with like this glow effect like here like like your lighting is always really interesting.
Yeah. I think I'm really into, I love color obviously, and I don't know. I just really like when things kind of look bizarre, but they just kind of work, and it blurs the line between something so real like a human, but also like if you go up to that one where the girl I covered in tinfoil, that's my friend Madeline. It's like you can tell that's in a bathroom, but it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like because it has a meaning to me, but then now that I'm displaying my work not only on social media but elsewhere, it's nice for people to voice their opinions because nobody's going to be taken away with the same thing or same perspective. And I guess the glowing effect is nice because I'm this like surrealism and surrealist artists are some of my absolute favorites. And yeah, it kind of gets that like dreamlike cloudy effect, trying to remember
Mm.
something, almost like nostalgic, but in a weird way.
Oh, I do see that. It's like it is kind of like a dream. Like you're like, I kind of weirdly remember that, but it's all messed up now.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like that. And then I
Thank
did really
you.
like this one, one of those self-portraits where you kind of manipulate this. I love this.
Yeah. Is that good? Is that funny?
That's really funny. What was the inspiration for this guy?
So this was for my I did a class at Syracuse. It was over Zoom because this was like in like crazy COVID times, like
Sure.
2020. So like nobody knew what was going on, but I was like, I'm still gonna try to do something. But I think this was in the middle of my parents' divorce. So I was at my grandparents' house and I had like none of my art supplies except my camera and whatever was in the house. And I think they always had orange juice in their house, like without fail, they always had orange juice. And I didn't have any models because I couldn't see anyone. So I was like, what if I don't know. I was just obsessed at this time with Andy Warhol, and he did that repeated thing. And I just was like, I wanted to do something like, this is one of those, I love making art with intent, but I also like making art that's just like, I just felt compelled to put myself behind a wall of orange juice, you know? And that was just my thought for the day. So, and it's also Syracuse, like the orange. So I was like, that's funny.
That's really funny, man.
Yeah.
Really good. Oh
Thank
wow,
you.
here we
Thank
go.
you.
This one's a little wild.
Yeah. It was a really like politically charged time. It still
It
is,
was
but
just
it
like a
was like,
bad. I like how you always do this with yours, where they all like
mhm.
flow into one thing. Did
Yeah,
you
I like
draw
it.
this? Is that what it is?
I did. Yeah.
What did Mr. Donald Trump say that really got you there?
A lot of things. He said a lot of things. That was such an interesting time because it was like we were locked up in like
Yep.
quarantine in our houses, but then everyone was like, ah, you know what I mean? No, literally, it was like,
Your whole
but
house was doing that?
kind of honestly, like with the differing political opinions in my house, it's like, and I was like, damn. So I guess that was my way of voicing my stance. So no regrets about it though.
I remember, or one thing that I noticed, because I knew you were you a freshman when I was a senior? Is
I
that when?
was, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So when we first met William, Mr. William was a like very like you could tell he came out of Christian school. It
Yeah.
was, like we're like I remember there's one run where like let's have William say something weird and he just wouldn't do it. Like he wouldn't say anything weird and he would go like hi and we'd be like no William say something really weird and he just wouldn't say anything. And then now the way that he expresses himself is just so evolved. Um how much where did that like progression start in like how much did the differing values of your family have a role in that?
That's a good question. I like how you phrase that question, first of all, but that like sense of expression, I think really came. I'm a firm believer in like you have to figure your shit out before you can figure anything else out. And I don't think I realized that until I was a very like back in that time, I was very not only sheltered but very insecure because I didn't have a firm sense of self yet. And
Oh,
I it was a time where it was a great I loved like looking back at high school, I loved my freshman year because I was so comfortable in such a like a bubble and such like I was such a fenced in world before that, and then I got to high school and it was like in a good way though, because not only like being on the cross country team, but like it was the first time. It's like crazy looking back because it was like that was the first time I had classmates that weren't white. Like at St. Pat's, it was 100% white, and we
wow.
can talk about that, but like that's one thing. But it's like when you combine, I feel like that was definitely like the point in my life where I realized, or at the first time where like my own views came out versus the views of like my family, extended family, or what was expected of me. And I think what helped a lot was I was put in a lot. It was very like very looking back easy ways to adapt, but it was like I was put outside my comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like you guys like forcing me to say something weird on the run. Like that sounds, it's just silly, but like stuff like that. Like I needed to push myself to like, dude, just chill out. You know what I mean? I was just so stuck in my ways and
Yeah.
stubborn in a bad way. And I think from there, I was like, that really gave me like the cross country team for sure. I credit with a lot of not only figuring myself out, but like being confident. Cause like to be a good runner, I think you need to be confident. It's a lot about the mentality behind it. And um, I'm thankful for my time as a runner, but I'm more thankful for the way it taught me that like behind every good performance, every good art piece, everything you do, you need to be firm in your beliefs and firm in who you are. Like I noticed when I look back at that time how much I was lacking in not like in character and what I wanted to be. And I was like, you guys like really pushed me to just like, dude, chill out, figure yourself out. And like from there, I just quickly acquired like a sense of confidence, not only from running, but also by like through the juxtaposition of running art and needing to adapt like with family situation stuff. It's like you learn this sense of confidence and self-reliability that's super important in all the like passions I have now. And I think you asked the second question, the second part was like, what do your family values have to do that with that, you said? I think I realized like more or less to question everything I believe, not in a bad way, but in a curious way. I feel like I became more curious a lot through high school and even now. And like, it's just, I feel like I'm not afraid of asking the wrong question. I'm not afraid of fucking up or failing. And I think that's the best thing I learned. I don't know. That's a good question, but yeah.
That's amazing.
I like that.
I remember because like we would go on runs together that year, and it'd just be like you and me a lot of times. And I do remember I was like, I just need this kid to just like I was just trying to open your mind. And I remember I would just like throw things at you and throw things, and you'd be like, and you never really say anything. And I think as sad as it was to see you leave running, I think that might have been like one of the best decisions, because I think we kind of put all this at you, and then you needed to get away from it and go into what you really are to really find who William is, and you were able to find it through a different set of friends and a different, medium of expression, which is really, really cool to see.
Absolutely. No, I'm so thankful I did running, because not only for like a health perspective, like I was a chubby ass kid. Like I've been there, like but also you learn so much about work ethic, you know what I mean? I feel like looking back at running, I don't really half-ass anything I do. And I learned that through running, because if you cut quarters in running, it's gonna show up
Yes.
easy,
You
easy,
can't. Yeah, it's a
easily.
performance sport. There's no.
Exactly. You can't bullshit anything in running. And I think with that, in combination to what you said, I was just like running with, like, I remember runs with you when you would say stuff about, I think at one time you were talking about like, were you like senior year, you were vegan, right? Or vegetarian?
Yes, that's the run, dude. And I was
Yeah. And I
telling
was
you,
like,
it's like, you can like not eat eggs. And you were like, no.
no, you were like, you said something. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And it was
I
like,
remember that exact thing. Yeah.
and it's weird because that was such a pivotal time for me, going from like, you inherit so many like so many landfill beliefs from people, no
Mm-hmm.
offense, like regardless if it's a good parent or a bad parent, but so many beliefs that are either trying to protect you or trying to like perpetuate a thing, like a some type of ongoing belief or insecurity from generation into generation. But I
Sure.
was like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Just because so and so thinks this doesn't mean it's true, and it's not what I believe. So yeah, from there I just kind of like went with it. Now
I do
now it's
remember
fun.
in that transition phase. Um, so remember it was really I could tell you were going through a lot because I know there was some behind the scenes family stuff going on, and then you also had a slow coming out as being gay,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
how did that kind of evolve? Because I do remember, I think like freshman year you still had a girlfriend, right? And then sometime
Sorry.
between when I was there and then I came back and it's like, oh no, William's this totally new guy. He like figured himself out. He's wearing earrings. He's got nail polish on, and oh yeah, he's gay.
William's crazy.
William's
William's earrings.
crazy,
He's
dude.
bad
He's
shit.
got
What the
some
fuck is he
some shit
doing?
going on. He
Oh my
makes
god.
good art now. It's crazy, man.
He's talking.
He's talking.
He's saying shit. No, I
He's
remember that was
William
so funny.
now.
Oh god, no, that like it was just it was a thing that I like knew it was time to go through. I think growing up Catholic, I had a lot of guilt because my whole life I was like, being gay is bad. And then I was like, deep down, I always kind of knew. And then when I was 12 and I like figured out what that meant, I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, but ultimately, if something's like not meant for you and you keep repressing it and repressing it, you're just gonna make yourself go crazy. And I felt myself kind of going crazy because I like at that point, I knew what I wanted and I knew who I wanted to be, at least for that next year. And I was like, damn, you just need to get over the fucking hill and do it.
Yeah.
If you can run whatever at that crazy time, I like look back and like, why we were running like 10 miles and like that seems like crazy. I'm like, if you can do that, dude, just tell everyone you're fucking gay. No one cares. You know what I mean? Like nobody really like, and if you do, that's more about them. And I think that's what I realized more. The people that had a problem with the way I was expressing myself, rather regardless of if it's sexually, personally, emotionally, I don't care. It's like it's more of a show of their character and their perception of themselves
Yeah.
than it is about you. And God, like coming out, it was like such like perfect, like not that it needed to be, it made it so much easier, but everyone was so good about it. Like everyone, first of all, you guys should have known, like it was very obvious, like, you know what I
we
mean?
we there was inklings, man. We were like,
Oh, totally. I think I remember you guys asking me who my favorite rapper was, and I said Nicki Minaj, and everyone was like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? It
shit, I
was just
wasn't
like,
supposed to say that.
yeah, fuck. But it's like that opened up so much more authenticity for myself, and then it was like, not to say there wasn't like parts of it that were confusing and uncomfortable and
Of
weird,
course.
because everything comes with, there's like the yin and the yang, there's a balance to everything, but it's just that helps so much. Like, and I'm so glad the timing was perfect. It made me a lot stronger as a person. And I don't know, I just felt like more like me. And like you said, I'm glad people could recognize that. Like, because I felt more like myself. It was just like an evolution and a snowball effect. You kind of just need to go for it. So I just kind of jumped into that decision and didn't really look back too much. So
Of course. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's so cool how correlated it is with the explosion of your art, you switching careers or like kind of friend groups, and like, you start changing the way you were physically perceived. And it was very cool to see. It's like, wow, he feels so much more comfortable in his own skin. But it's
Totally.
so weird. Like, sexuality and gender to me is so strange how we like try to, it's so emphasized, in my opinion,
It is.
right?
It is.
Personally, I'm like, yo, guys, why do we care? Like, just let them do whatever the fuck they want, right? Like,
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck, man. Like,
no, exactly. And it's like most of my art revolves around this, but I remember I went back for Thanksgiving break, and it's like college is such a microcosm of the world, because you like get everyone, everyone for all these
sure,
different,
I
and
definitely
I
did
love
notice
and
that.
I love it. But then I go back to Glen Ellen and I was like, I just noticed these little things about, specifically about gender, but I also noticed about sexuality. I was like, everyone kind of just is in their fucking little worlds. You know what I mean? It's like, it really doesn't matter. But what I think is interesting is it's such a big problem for some people to get over. So a lot of my art now is, I'm not delegitimizing the seriousness of the issue, because I think like misogyny is an issue, sexism is an issue, homophobia, transphobia, etc. is an issue, but it's fun to fuck with people in my art. Like, people get so mad, you know what I mean? And then like, calm down, you know what I mean?
What do you do? What do you do?
So that sculpture I sent you it's
Oh, you
basically
sent me
like,
something?
yeah, that sculpture is basically like a whole clusterfuck of like critiquing the domestic sphere. And it's made out of like the floral couches that you would find at like a grandma's house,
Yes, I do. Here, I'm going to
like
be sharing it.
that
Yes, I
floral print.
totally know what you're talking about. The floor couch. Yeah.
Yeah, that is like, so I casted my body in not duct tape, and like um packing tape, and I tied it all around my body, and then I had this
No.
cast of my body. And so this is my body, and then I put a bunch of foam inside, and then I cut out a pattern that's the couch cushions, because that like just reminds me of that like home to me is that bubble of domesticity where everything's very binary, everything's very traditional, everything's very conservative, and how even though it might be comfortable like a couch, it's dangerous. You know what I mean? It's like getting in the rut of this thinking again. And it reminds me, it's funny that we've been talking about this, but like that way I used to think, that it was so not only hypocritical, because now I'm like the complete opposite to it, but it's just a critique of not only the intersection between like binary gender expression, sexuality, and religion, but how stupid it is. So I'm just trying to like personify this in this weird body. It's weird. You know what I mean?
Tell me about this lovely
So that's a
human thing.
So that's a crucifix, and I ripped Jesus off. I don't know where I put him. And then it's bedazzled with a Barbie doll. And a lot of my work, I just find like expressions of gender so
Oh man.
interesting, because it's like everything is gender. You know what I mean? Everything is gendered,
Everything.
and
Yep.
it's like, and it looking back, I'm like, I've always played with my sister when I was little. I played with Barbies. When I was little, I would like play dress up. You know what I mean? I was like, what? It's weird
Weird.
that everything's so like, there's not there's not a spectrum. It's one or the other, and it's so polarizing. So
Sure.
I just wanted this sculpture to be like someone's worst nightmare. You know what I mean? So if it like walked around, it would be like, ah. So yeah, it has like
Gender.
boobs. It has like boobs and then a penis, so it's like
Oh
confusing. You know what I
really?
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and the
I love.
penis is like a gun.
Where's
So
the
it's like,
penis?
do you see that thing with the pearls coming out of it?
This.
That's it. Yeah,
This
you
is
can't see.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's
This is
fun though.
amazing. This is
Thank you.
what
I
happened
get
to
to
this? What happened to it?
Oh, it's at the art and design building right now. I took pictures of it, like better pictures with my good camera. So I can
Yeah.
send those to you if you want to see those.
No,
I literally did that right before I came here. So that's funny.
maybe I'll have to go down to U of I and see it with my own eyes,
Totally.
man.
Yeah,
See
it's better in
all
person.
the dicks and
All
penises
the dicks
and
and boobs
all the
and
boobs, everything, man. That sounds
yeah,
awesome, right?
yeah, but no, it's
Yeah,
fun.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, jeez. How so you grew up in the church, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
I went to Catholic school.
yeah, you went to Catholic school. And then how are you still religious now? Or how has that changed?
I'm not religious. I hate it. Like this is so like annoying. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. But like I believe there's something I don't know what it is, but it's I don't know. Like I'm not religious. I don't really go to church
Mm,
because it doesn't really feel comfortable being there. It's like
sure.
being in a space that's like not it's just very hypocritical and I can't really I'm not trying to judge anybody who is religious. Like all respect to you, but I think
Sure.
I critique my Christian background a lot because it was a thing that I never like questioned. So
Or
no, I'm not
asked
religious.
for, right?
Exactly. No, exactly.
That's
And yeah. Wait, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
that's like my thing with religion is like specific religions like oh Christianity or like Islam or like whatever it is, right? Is like
Hmm.
imagine we're born feral children in the woods, right?
Hmm.
None of us are going to be like, yo, there's this baby Jesus thing. And he just like popped up from like this
Yeah.
virgin girl and they were in a barn and it was like, and then there was this guy who like split the sea. It was freaking dope, man. Like you're never just going to imagine that. But
No, literally.
what you can't imagine is be like, wow, that sun, that thing's powerful. It keeps me warm. Makes look at my plants are growing. Look at this. This is so weird. Or like the wind. Wow, it's so strong. Like that's why I feel like a lot of native cultures use, sun god, wind god, grass god.
Yeah.
Like I can see how people could come to that and how there might be that higher something, but it being specifically Jesus is just it seems like what?
No, exactly. And like there's just so many there's it to me it's bullshit because it's like it's one thing I just like to question things a lot. So I'm like, how do we know? But I think there's something, and I don't think it really concerns me. No, it concerns me, but like not that much. Like
Sure.
I think about how insignificant I am in a good way. Like we are so fucking small. It's like I respect anybody's belief, but this is how I think of it. I'm on here for a nanosecond in comparison to how long this fucking world has been around, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
More
just
than
gonna
6,000 years?
no, I know literally more than 6,000 years. What the fuck? You know what I mean? And like it's like, but no, I'm just like in a state of like thankfulness and gratitude for being here. And like I'm just gonna make art and have a good time. You know what I mean? If there's a God up there and it's having sweet Jesus, that's great. I'll try to remember my Bible verses, but like I think everything's gonna turn. I have a strong belief that there's something, but I
Interesting.
don't think that it requires me to discriminate against people for one aspect of their self or,
Sure.
you know,
Do you
also
think
that bread and wine sucks. It's horrible. It's
dude, I always the
horrible.
crackers and the grape juice, man.
I know. It's like, can we get something better? If we're gonna be praising Jesus, let's like get
Let's fine dine here, man.
fine
Yeah.
dine, big loaves of bread, good wine. Everyone gets a nice glass. I don't know,
Why
but
don't the priests be living in like modest house and then we get like $500 wine bottles every week, you know?
I know. Come on, but like, no,
Why do you
I'm
have
still
six
interested.
bedrooms? Like what?
Like, what's going on?
There's
And
like
it's just
two
like,
dudes in there.
I know, kind of gay. So I don't know. That's the thing that always confused me too. You hear about all these, it's horrible, but it's all these sexual abuse cases about priests raping boys. I'm like, that's fucked up.
Why is it?
Recognize like there's an issue. They don't recognize there's an issue. It's an institution and it's a business. It's like,
Because
come
like
on.
just like imagine if you or me or whoever the hell, imagine if you had all these feelings whatever of sexuality because every human does, almost, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, they don't exist in me, man. Like what? I only have sex with God. Like what?
I only have sex with Jesus. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
like
Like,
sorry,
what?
man. That's why it comes out, is my guess, in small
I
boys.
know.
Or,
And it's just horrible because it's like, it's like I said, like you're using your issues and your insecurities and your problems with yourself, you're weaponizing it with religion, and then you're perpetuating that onto people who are innocent and have no autonomy. Like these are kids, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I just think that I think that religion at a young age is very dangerous, or can be very dangerous if you're not letting them come up with their own beliefs.
yeah.
And it's very more like generic for me. I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to do my part and care for the people I love and people in this world. I'm not going to be a dickhead, but I'm not going to, it doesn't mean I don't need to like subscribe to this culty behavior. You know what I mean? That's my opinion though.
Oh
And
yeah.
I just think there's too many issues historically. I love reading about history, but it's like the church did so much, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. Well, because
but I'm still making my mind up with religion. I'll
it's
get there.
it's kind of an unfounded power in a way,
Yeah.
like these just random leaders are just like, no, God told me that, like I'm in charge. Like God told me. And everyone's like, oh,
Mhm.
really, dude? Okay, man.
No.
Oh yeah. Or like, you learn about like the caste system in India where they're like
Yeah. Oh
made a
God.
system so that you couldn't move up until you died and you had to not revolt or else you would get moved down. And it's like, wow, wait, guys, this is like the same thing as all the other religions, right? Like,
I know.
what's to say it wasn't made? I mean, it's made up by a human at the end of the day. And then
It's made up by humans by the end of the day.
yeah,
It's like if it's a religion and the core value is like love whatever's upstairs and then love each other and treat each other like you want to be treated. Nobody's treating others like they want to be treated in religion at all.
no,
Let me have gay sex. Like stop, like
fuck
stop. You know
off,
what I
man.
mean? You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
I had like this weird moment in fall of this last year where like one of my friends had gone into the church, and I was like, well, okay, because he was very like, wow, this is I don't like it, it's so fucked up. And then all of a sudden I came back and he was like in the church, and I was like, whoa, dude, what happened? And so I was
Mhm.
like, you know what, I'll try out this church thing. So I like went for one, and everyone's there, we're all singing, people in the front row are getting into it, they're like, yeah, Jesus, man, woo.
Yeah.
And like they're like, I'm like, man, he must be seeing God right now. And it's just like this
Yeah.
crazy experience. And I'm like, well, it makes so much sense. There's like 250 people in a small, beautifully sounded room. And there's just like a man with muscular arms playing the guitar. And you're all just singing together. It's just like this huge kumbaya. I was like, wow, we're all together. It's so powerful. Like, and that's the feeling where you're like, oh, am I doing something good by being here? And then afterwards, I went and I was like talking to one of the people that were in it. He was in an internship at the church. So he lived there and he helped out and he got free rent because of it. And he was also a very well studied like theologist. Like that was his thing. And so he's like
Mhm.
25 or something. I'm like asking all these questions, like giving him all my like, wait, dude, this is weird kind of questions. Like I wasn't really holding back. And then all of a sudden there's like 4 or 5 other people who are very Christian around me, and they're all coming at me, and I'm like, and then it's a very respectful conversation, obviously.
That's
But
good.
the thing that got me, man, is that I was like, so like, what about like sex and like gay and like that? And then
What about gay?
what
That's
about
the question we're not
gay?
asking.
And he was like, yeah, we can respect them as people, but at the end of the day, being gay is a sin. And I was like, oh man, dude, you lost me. I'm gone. Like,
Send
what
me
the
straight
fuck,
to
man?
hell.
Like, what the
Send
fuck,
me
man?
straight to hell, please. Oh my God.
Like, why? I just don't
Like it's
understand. Like, even if you think of it in a business model, why are you being discriminative against people that could be in your
Thank you.
church?
Thank you. Thank you. Because you know what? Let me talk about this. Hobby Lobby, you don't think gay people like DIY shit? Are you kidding? That could be your fucking audience. And you guys are homophobic. You guys are
Wait, tell me about
dumb.
Hobby Lobby.
They hate gay people.
They
Like
hate him.
Hobby Lobby, Chick-fil-A, they're like, they put out, you know what I mean?
Tell me about
Like it's
this.
like you're talking about business models.
Yes.
So like the church is like that's one business model, but
Hmm.
Christian businesses that like are really like
Yes.
biblically aligned, like close on Sunday, like but are actively donated to like anti-gay shit or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are the perfect fried chicken and
Gay
DIY
people hate
shit.
chicken and DIY shit, William. That's what I
No, gay
heard.
people love. Speaking for yourself, Kalen. I love crafts. Oh my god. But like you're really making me it's just stupid.
Do you boycott them?
Boycott, yeah, I boycott them from time
Yeah.
to time.
From
Sometimes I from
sometimes a
time to
chicken
time.
Sammy just sounds too good.
Oh, Chick-fil-A, I never go to Chick-fil-A. You
Okay.
can't because it's just fried chicken. I go to what's it called? The other one?
Oh, Raising Cane's?
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, that one's
The
good.
fucking toast. Oh, so
Yeah.
good. But no, it's just I think the issue is like I can see people's point of view. I
Hmm.
understand. Like a good example is like way back in like the Renaissance times when they were making all that elaborate ass art in the Vatican and making it crazy. Think about it like this: like all these people, there was no technology. All these poor people came to church and saw these fucking unreal visuals, stained glass, and everything. Why wouldn't you think God was real? You know what I mean? It's like a
How the
fucking
fuck do
drug.
you do that?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
100%, man.
so it's like taking away a drug from someone. It's like taking heroin away from the heroin like addicts. They're gonna be fucking upset with you. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. That's
Why
how
do you
I,
take
I
away my stained glass windows, man?
you're challenging everything that they know is the reality.
Yes. No, that's 100% it.
And I think
100% it.
the more comfortable you are with like it's just like I like not only with COVID, but with a lot of things changing in my life, I'm like, you just gotta chill out, dude. Like ride the fucking wave because it's more fun if you just let things go and let things change and realize like everything is gonna work out eventually. And
Yeah.
sometimes I like if I could go back in time and tell myself in eighth grade, I'm like, you guys, you just need to like realize like this isn't you're like you can't plan for everything and you can't be in a space where you're always comfortable because that you're not going to learn anything, you know. And I think that sometimes church can be that for people because everything's set and I
Hmm.
get the comfort with it and I get the tradition with it, but for me it's just and people weaponize it, you know. People put it against you. It's like, oh, you're it's like it goes as far as like, oh, you're not Christian or you're this or you're that or you want to have sex or you want to like, you know what I mean. Let me have a piece of sausage pizza on a fucking Friday in April. It's let, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like
You
become
showed him.
jaded from religion, but I just think
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because the artistic practice and artistic questioning has like allowed me to like look at everything hyper
Hmm.
focusedly. So I question everything. And I think that makes me skeptical, but not in the way where I can't believe things. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I take the scenic route instead of the highway to figure out my opinion on things. If
Why
that
do you
makes sense.
think um why do you think art was kind of epicentered in the church originally? You know, like in that 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, like it just all the best art was made within the church, right? And displayed within the church with the stained glass ceilings and Michelangelo and all this
Yeah,
Sistine
yeah.
Chapel. Like, why do you think it started there?
Um, I think that it's a good idea to separate art and then selling art because those are two different things. But like the sale of art, it's has always been seen as like prestigious and whatnot. And whoever has the most money is gonna sponsor artists.
Mm,
Whoever has the most money is gonna try to get as much art as possible, especially historically. It's like the church,
the church.
they used it as like a way to get people to come to church because like who wouldn't want to see that bomb stuff by
Yeah.
Michelangelo? But it's also like it was a display of wealth, it was patronage, it was a system that was used to like it was like a way to glorify and like add jewels and be like, look how wealthy we are. Because the church was a power. The church was basically like its country, its own country that like
Mm,
went across borders. But I think you see that today, that like the richest 5% kind of use art. They kind of it's like they not weaponize art, but they use it in a way as this intangible medium. Like, do you know,
Sure.
like NFTs and all that
Yeah.
stuff? That stuff, it's like almost like a secret club. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's like, dude, it's art. You know what I mean? It's like digital.
Yes.
It's really it's baffling to me. It's also interesting, but I think the church used it because they were wealthy as hell. It's like all those rich people back in the day with getting all these artifacts, and like it's seen as, it's like with fashion labels today, everyone wants the Supreme shit, everyone wants Gucci shoes. That's art. It's seen as like you're powerful. So
I think art definitely can be corrupted in that sense when it's like I'm trying to sell it to where
mhm,
people make, like you could make a compelling documentary that could convince you just about anything, like
mhm.
that's how flat earth happens,
Yeah, oh my
or
God.
like why people, go vegan is they watch some weird documentary and then all of a sudden they're like, wait a second, the earth is flat, and it's weaponizing art, which can be it's a powerful
It's
thing.
dangerous.
Same
Yeah,
all the way
it's
back to the
dangerous.
church.
I think what's interesting is like when you look back at art, it's like certain styles become popular, certain people become popular, and then it's like there's so many underground movements that are so much more interesting.
Give me one.
Like, I'm trying to think. No, but like things that are popular today are like, everyone has Keith Haring. I love Keith Haring. Keith Haring's like my favorite artist all the time. He's the dancing dude guy.
The
Do you know
dancing
the
dude
dancing
guy.
dudes? Like, look up Keith Haring's art,
Okay, got you.
and you can show it if you want. But his art was like super politically charged, super gay, super AIDS, super everything,
Super gay. This is
super
exactly what
AIDS,
we super AIDS.
super
Super
AIDS,
AIDS, like the
AIDS, like
autoimmune disease
deficiency syndrome. Yeah,
deficiency syndrome.
yeah, and it's like you see it today, and it's sold on T-shirts at Urban Outfitters and all the. It's like interesting because in his day he was popular. Don't get me wrong, but he was a gay artist. You know what I mean? So his platform was only so big, and then now it's today you see everyone wearing his pieces, even though he died 30 years ago, and it's
Mm.
like it makes me question if he would even want this because it seems like they're using it for money. You know, it's like it's a trend
Yeah,
now.
who is getting
Trends.
this money?
I
Like,
don't
is his
know.
family still have
The
like
Keith Haring
trademarks
Foundation.
and
Yeah. But it's like Urban Outfitters. You can look anywhere, they have it. They do that with Basquiat's work too. It's like
oh
it's
wow.
mesmerizing because it's like sometimes I want to go up because it's like the straightest dude ever. And he's wearing a Keith Haring shit. I'm like, do you know who he is? You know what I mean? Because most of his shit was like gay sex. Like it was sexual, like very like provocative. And I don't know. I'm here for like art being for everyone and for art being accessible to everyone, and that this is a way to do it. But then I'm like looking back on the intent, and I think the artist's intentions that should still be respected.
Mm.
And I just think it's so interesting how art becomes trendy, or certain
Yeah.
art styles become trendy, because it's baffling to me.
How did you said he died?
Yeah, he died of AIDS.
He died of AIDS.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is both sadly ironic and also like just you know, it was just like sad. You
Was he
know?
making artwork about like
Yeah,
this before he even got AIDS?
yeah, he was.
Is that still a scary thing in like within the gay community? Is like there's still like bad tensions with that, or it's like it just
It's weird because I feel like as a gay person, I'm pretty educated in queer history because I wanted to be and I was interested in
mm-hmm.
it. I felt like it was part of my responsibility. Like if I was going to be gay, like I can't do anything half-ass. But like I was like, if I'm going to be gay,
I'm gonna be really gay.
I'm going to be super gay. You know what I mean? But like, but no, but like, I don't think like the younger generation, I don't think they know about the AIDS epidemic. You know what I mean? And it's interesting because when you look at the COVID, it's like if it affects everyone, it's gonna get fixed. But or if it affects like rich people, like they're gonna fix it and donate money. But it's like that was a whole thing that wasn't fixed. People were like dying left and right. It's like it's scary, but I don't think it's as scary anymore because like people are aware of it now, and also because like most things, sex is going to keep continuing. You know what I mean? And you just need to be safe. You need to protect yourself. And it's like, that's one thing. But I think it also comes from a place of like not knowing about like a
Interesting.
community's history, which is unfortunate because it's so rich and it's so inspiring and it's so like I think being gay is a sexuality, but like it's also more than that. It's like you're attributing yourself to a group and attributing yourself to a certain culture and a certain openness that's projecting like a heteronormative lens that you're perpetuated with since birth. So I think it's just
Sure.
I think it's something that like even if you're not gay, you should be interested in it because it's interesting
Yeah.
and good shit comes out of it. You know what I mean?
Good
Keep
shit.
herring, like, oh my God. But
No, you do
yeah.
notice that with like just even the pride flag and stuff. Like it comes like it's like, oh, you like guys, like whatever, okay, whatever the heck. But then it starts to come into another, like into the physical world where it's like I am wearing rainbow colored shit because I want to show it off and I'm part of this club. And it kind of definitely goes across that boundary, which is definitely, I think people in that community have felt, right, they felt kind of forgotten or like shamed upon, and they just want to be like, nah, this is me, man, what's up, let's
No,
go, baby.
exactly, because it's like political. You know what I mean? Because when someone's rights are not given to them
Mm-hmm.
because of an overlying controller of power, you have to fight for it. Like that's why I always felt like it was like not like a duty, but like, dude, you should know whose shoulders you're stepping on, regardless. Like as a
Sure.
human, just as a human, like, and I think that goes both positively and negatively. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm like I've been received as a member of the LGBTQ community so well by so many people, but I'm so white. You know what I mean? That's a privilege. That's such a privilege. You know what I mean? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's not to say that there's so much racism in in like not only the United States but in the gay community, and like you see it everywhere. Not only with like dating, but with sex and like ways things were received and things still being received, and it's a
Sure.
problem everywhere. And it's in I don't know. I'm not gonna say like, oh my God, look at me, I'm gay, but like it's like there's still issues that are a lot bigger that
100%.
don't affect me, but still affect people that I love or people that inspire me. So yeah.
Did you see the that the Supreme Court justice is stepping down?
I did, yeah.
Yes. And then Joe Biden is trying to reappoint somebody really quickly, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, one thing that does get me with that is that he's like announced that it can only be a black woman, which of course these people deserve, like there deserves to be a representation or whatnot. But to just to say that you can only possibly have a black woman take this role just seems like if I said only a white man can take the role, that's racist. But if I can say a black woman can only take this role, it's like it just is kind of like, are we boxing in to try to make this political correctness? Does Biden even care, or is he just trying to push a narrative? Like, do you have
Yeah. I think he made in his campaign trail, he said he was going to elect a black woman. So I think first he
he's
needs to live up to his word.
interesting.
I see what you're saying though. And unfortunately, it's like right now we're in a point politically in our country where everything is a fucking
It's like,
button
man,
pusher.
yeah,
I'm
man.
like,
Like, I don't give a shit, if
yeah,
the best person for this job is a black woman, right? I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, baby.
yeah,
But if it's like, oh, it can only be a black woman, it's like, what about like the 90 other percent of the country? Like, oh, it even does. What about some Latino guy? What about some Asian guy? What about some white woman? Like, whatever the hell. It doesn't, whatever to me, like, as long as it's the best person for the job. And the fact that we're pushing such a political narrative with everything, it's right side, left side, my team, your team, it's so crazy and backwards to me. And then, I don't know, man.
I get what you're saying though. And I think the issue though, I lean towards like the side that because they weren't for most of our country's existence, black women especially weren't given that role or even
Of
opportunity to
course.
pursue that. So I'm all
It's
for it.
it's kind of like
And I
making
just
up
think,
for it. in a
It's
way.
making up for it, but it's also just like it's there's so many systemic issues and
Mm,
institutionalized norms that are just wrong and not correct,
yes.
not equitable, and it's unfortunate, but it's like we need it's not our fault directly, but it's our fault if we continue perpetuating that. So I think
Mm,
if this is a step to push us in the right direction, which I think it is, and if that's putting a Black woman in the Supreme Court because she's qualified, and also because like it's time, then
sure.
let's fucking do it. You know what I mean?
I
Because
was, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
no, you go. Sorry.
I was talking to Ella Crowley, which I'm sure you
Mhm.
know, and she was
Yes,
saying how she's a woman in physics, right?
yes.
And so that's
Okay.
really rare in a
Yeah.
way.
Oh
So
my
like
God.
all of the academia are pushing her to be in physics and keep pushing physics and keep doing this and keep taking all these. And then all of a sudden she starts to get all these offers and all these scholarships and all these awards because, oh, she's in physics, right? But she's like, she
Mhm.
was telling me, she's like, I don't really know if I'm getting these awards because I'm good at physics or because I'm a woman that's good at physics. And in a way, it
Oh,
cheapens everything that they've ever given me. And so my point back to the Biden thing is like, why not just appoint a Black woman and not make a deal about how it could only be a Black woman?
yeah.
Because if you have all of these candidates, what from every sect of the world of the United States, and then you decide the Black woman is best fit, I feel like that gives like, oh, yes, like people are going to respect that and understand that a lot more if even there was a candidate of any other background.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember in a class we were talking about this issue, and one of my classmates who's a woman in some STEM field, she
Mm-hmm.
was like, I felt cheapened when I got my scholarship because it wasn't a STEM scholarship, it was a woman in STEM scholarship, and I
Yeah.
felt like if I was a man, would I have gotten that same
Mm-hmm.
thing? You know what I mean? And I think it's an issue that creates a lot of friction because opening the space it's opening the space for any minority or any person that hasn't had the chance to, but then it's like, what am I good enough for this? It's
Yes. Yes.
like should I be here because I'm good enough, or am I
Yeah.
here because I'm a woman in STEM, I'm an Asian in literature, I'm a gay man
Yeah.
making gay shit, so they want gay, you know what I mean? Are you filling
Yeah.
a box? Are you filling a box, or do you actually want me to be here? Am I actually good enough?
100%. I'm sure you've
So
probably felt that in some way before, right? Or like,
some way, yeah, but also like my art's not like, I'm not being cocky, but my art's not good because I'm gay. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
No,
more
no,
than that.
100%. It goes past it.
And I feel like art itself is such a space that everyone is in already. It has its issues, but it's like from the get-go, it's like I don't want people to critique me and be scared of being like, okay, you need to do more with this because you're scared you're gonna be homophobic. It's like, no, just tell
Mm.
me what's bad. So I don't know. I'm like, I felt that, but also I'm like, it's a hard like thing. You know what I mean? Because it's also like when I'm applying to college, if my art wasn't about being gay, they wouldn't know I was gay. It's not, I didn't check a box and say I'm homosexual. You know what I mean? I didn't say like,
What if they
oh,
did?
I'm a man that likes men. That's an issue though. That's an issue. Here's the thing. I don't know how to fix that issue or what's the best course of action to go around that, because you're dealing with the past where it's like the spaces weren't open for those people, but now you're dealing with the present where they're trying to open those people, but at the same time, it's like, what
Because there's
are
different
you making
standards.
up? Are you making up? Or do you feel bad? Or do you just want to be like, oh, we have
Yeah.
61% of our population is
Yes.
BIPOC and STEM. You know
College.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think it's a lot. Unfortunately, it's very chauvinistic and gets at a root like problem, but I don't really know. It's one of those things. It's like such
Or
a
do you?
it comes at a point where it puts all of these issues together, and then you're just like stuck there around a round table, and you're like, so what now?
Yeah. Like, how do you fix that? How do you be like, okay, we want to include these people, but is it, man, because it's at the end of the day, it has to kind of, it kind of corrected and then it kind of overcorrected and it needs to kind of just try to find that, okay,
Sweet
whoever's
spot. Yeah.
best for whatever this thing is, whoever's the best students, go to college, whoever's the best this, go to this. But then I think part of the problem is if you're thinking of like on a university level where they have like certain percentages of each race um that are allowed to go to school there, or like the highest whatever, it's like, okay, well, maybe this person that came from an like a area in south side of Chicago is definitely has less opportunity than someone who came from our area of Chicagoland, where they
Mhm.
might not have the same grades, but their perspective is still valid. And that's probably where it came from, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I
But
think so.
but then it's just tough because how do you evaluate that to where the point where it's completely equal and everyone has an equal opportunity to go there, even though people's backgrounds aren't equal.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely tricky because you need to. It's I think the main paradox is how do you create an environment that's equitable for everyone? Especially,
you
I think the problem
can't.
is because we live in a country that's not equitable yet. It claims to be. It has always claimed to be, but that's not the
Mm,
case. You know what I mean? Like we like I'm in a class right now. It's like we're talking about mass incarceration. It's like that's not equitable. Like that's like
sure.
a form of like, and we have people on there for like a gram of marijuana.
Yeah, all the
If so,
drug
lock
stuff
me
is
up too, because
crazy.
that's not equitable. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
there, but, but yeah, it's college is a weird place, but an interesting place, and also a fun place, and also a stressful place. Inexpensive. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's another issue. Thank God for in-state tuition. But yeah, I
So how
digress.
has that transition to college been, man? It's been a good
It's been
little,
good. It's
yeah,
been good.
really finding yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I credit the like the weirdness of like the COVID year and like 2021 for helping me being adaptable. Because I don't know, everything seems kind of like I'm in a point where I'm very like go with the flow, but also like
Willie, oh, let's
try
go.
to get rid of like my procrastination. So I'm like, you'll get it done, but like stay like keep up the pace, you know what I mean? Just having endurance. So
Sure.
another running thing that's on me.
Oh,
But yeah.
and then Leslie, what's next for what's next for your art? Like where are we going? Like what's you graduate college or whatever, like what are you doing? You moving to New York? Are you going to
Yeah, I hope so.
freaking Columbia or something? I don't know. Like what
Mhm.
where's that step?
Yeah, I definitely want to move to New York or London. I
Or
don't know if I want to get out of the
London.
country, but
Ooh.
I want to be like a creative director for like a fashion brand or something and just make weird ad campaigns. But also like I think that I love too many things, so I'm always going to be busy, which is great. But also like you know what I mean. So I want to do
Mm-hmm.
so many things at one time, but I think for now I need to think about like this next year. You know, I'm excited for this next year to
Perfect.
just acquire a lot of more skills and kind of just test the waters and what I can do and like advance my already um, established foundation. And yeah, I want to get more consistent. I think that sometimes I let my like either mental or emotional state get in the way of my art making. And I think I can use that. I'm just trying to use it more as a push to make art, not a way to retract from it,
Mm,
you
that's
know?
amazing. That's amazing. I love it.
So thank you. So
Yeah,
I don't have any like firm goals, but I have an idea of where I'm heading and I think I'm on the right track.
that's
So
probably the
yeah,
best way to do it. Well, thank you for coming
yeah,
on, William. It's been a
yeah.
pleasure
Thank you for having
anytime.
me.